What's going on there, guys? Good evening. It's the Earthmaster here on this finally Friday, September 16th, 2022. It is about 7:05 p.m. California time. Latest quake on the Earthquake 3D globe. Looks like a 1.3 up here in Alaska. They are expecting a pretty strong storm up there coming in from the west. West up here, going to hit western Alaska. Talking about winds of 80 to 90 miles an hour. From this massive low pressure system up there. But then again, winter's in force, right? Here in California, we're expecting some rainfall this weekend, and some of us here, including the valley, could see between an inch or two of rain, and that's almost unheard of for September. All right, looking at the Earthquake 3D globe here. This is the last 24 hours of EMSC data and also the USGS, so there are some smaller quakes here on the globe. A couple earthquakes down here in the Pacific Plate. I'm going to go ahead and check this out here real quick on the USGS model, the flat scale model. Go ahead and go down here to the East Pacific Rise area. A little plate boundary action out here. This is a divergent boundary. Got the separation of the seafloor out here. Just outside of, looks like Easter Island. They have it set as Easter Island, which sits kind of down here to the southeast. And this is a plate boundary between the Pacific and the Nazca Plate. I'm pretty certain here that we need to watch the South America region following this activity here. While that's not a big earthquake, a 4.9, we tend to see activity ramp up pretty quickly along the Pru-Chile Trench following this type of earthquake activity along the plate boundary here. So watch the South America region. Over the last 24 hours around this area of the world, it's a little spotty. A couple earthquakes throughout the day, a 5.3 along the Kermadec Trench and a 5.6 in the just southeast of the Loyalty Islands area. And for the most part, the majority of this other earthquake activity from this morning or last night, late last night time frame, including this one up here outside of Guam. That one coming in late last night. As far as newer activity over here around this area of the world, there's not a whole lot. The Japan Trench is pretty quiet. The Kuril-Kamchatka Trench, all very quiet. Some movement around eastern Turkey. Got a 4.8 coming in this afternoon time frame, and some older earthquakes around Greece and Yemen. Some of that activity from this morning time frame. The Atlantic Ocean, pretty quiet. Not a whole lot popping off up there, or out there, I should say. Right now, the main spot here on the map showing the Puerto Rico area. Getting in on some activity here within the last hour. If you're hearing some birds in the background, that's my parakeets. I do have a couple. And they're just kind of being a little chirpy tonight. Couple twos out there around the southwestern edge of Puerto Rico, and some out here around the British Virgin Islands. A couple small quakes there within the last hour. All right, West Coast. What do we got? Some inland activity, it looks like, around the Antelope Valley. I believe this is the Antelope Valley area. Not the Antelope Valley down in SoCal, but up here around the Walker, California area. A little bit less population density up here. 2.3 and a 3.7 coming in. Looks like earlier this afternoon, late afternoon time frame. Things kind of kicking up there in that little region. Also up here around the Mohawk Valley Fault, north of Truckee. Seen some activity that was coming in from late last night. Looks like a 2.1. As far as the Cascadia goes over here, we got 3 earthquakes. One coming in, looks like earlier this afternoon time frame. 2.1 at 20 kilometers. These other 2 are from last night. But overall, a little seismic activity increase there along the southern end of the Cascadia. Throughout the Bay Area, not a whole lot going on. No more aftershocks up there around Santa Rosa. Things have just kind of come to a stop, a complete stop. There wasn't even that many microquakes or that many aftershocks following that those couple 4 magnitude earthquakes there a few days ago. Some movement around San Jose today. Looks like a 1.9, and some other smaller microquakes up and down the creeping section of the San Andreas Fault. A 1 earthquake here off the San Andreas, near the Maricopa area, 1.0 at 12 kilometers deep, just off the San Andreas Fault zone there, the plate boundary. Southern California, We did see some activity this morning kind of wrapping up here, but things have kind of mellowed out. Not a whole lot going on around the Salton Sea. I got a 1.2 coming in, looks like late afternoon time frame. But other than that, things are very, very quiet throughout the Southern California area for now. A little spotty activity throughout Nevada as well. Utah, Yellowstone National Park. Not a whole lot going on up there, but let's go ahead and check this out real quick. I'd like to double check Yellowstone just to make sure that nothing's brewing up there. And kind of looks like we're getting a little bit of some swarming, or at least earthquake activity in a separate area from the northwest. Or typical swarms here over the last couple weeks have been here around the Maple Creek area. Looks like a little migration here around the Mary Lake area. Looks like just a couple small, very small microquakes in the mix there. Aside from that, there's definitely no major swarms or any noteworthy activity to report at Yellowstone. About the same throughout the center part of the country. Eastern part of the country, got one earthquake up here in, I believe this was from last night, right? Yes, it was. Up around the Greenwood, Maine area. No further activity to report following that 2.3 up there. Things just kind of at a standstill currently. The Big Island, got one earthquake out here, kind of in an odd spot. 3.8. Let's see, at about 14 kilometers deep, well off the coast of Maui. Don't see too much earthquake activity out there, but it does happen. The hot spot here at the Big Island. Got some, no doubt we'll get some new volcanoes brewing here as the Pacific Plate travels over this hot spot area. It might take a couple million years to get a new island out here, but it'll happen eventually. Southeastern region of the Big Island, about the only active region right now. 15 earthquakes listed up here on the map. No major changes there to note at any of the volcanoes across the board. Looking at the USGS map here of volcanoes, monitored and unmonitored. The unmonitored are going to be in the white pyramids or triangles. Got a couple volcanoes up here along the Aleutian Trench that have kind of been in the watch level for a little while. Haven't seen any further uptick though. Of course, Kilauea volcano down there continuing its thing. Tau Island, let's go ahead and check this out here real quick, see what we got for the volcano down there. I know we've been watching a little swarm of activity over the past few weeks, but things have kind of mellowed out. Go ahead and check out the seismograph station here of the area. And wow, look at that. Things are very quiet. The earthquake magnitudes have dropped off dramatically. There's not a whole lot popping up at all in this area right now. That looks like it might be coming to an end as far as the swarm goes. Latest update around Tau Island, Tau volcano. Shows earthquake swarm related to the Tau Island continues. Over the past 24 hours, seismicity remained low for the Manua Islands. An earthquake at 7:36 a.m. Had a magnitude similar to larger events earlier in the swarm. Looks like people felt it. Fourth broadband seismometer was installed. Okay. Doesn't look like there's any major changes at all as far as this activity goes in the American Samoa. But looking at that graph there, things look pretty minimal as far as the earthquake activity goes for now. What else do we have? Alaska. Couple earthquakes, it looks like, throughout the region. Nothing major going on. Literally, it's just one of those days that just seem a little bit odd. I know it's been pretty active with all the movement here across the southwestern Pacific Ring of Fire and also through the Java Trench, but things are just kind of coming to a standstill right now. Pretty quiet activity. Tremor map tonight, 108 epicenters, kind of stretched out around the Vancouver Island ranges up there to the north. That's the northern end of the Cascadia, kind of sits offshore here. And then also stretching down through portions of Oregon, it looks like. This is not earthquake activity, but tremor activity occurring down there about 40 kilometers or so down dip underneath the North American plate. We'll check out Mount St. Helens here real quick on the volcanic seismicity map. See what we got for data over the last 24 hours here at the Dome Station. Give this a second. Definitely some earthquake activity. You can see these little spikes here in the mix. Those are some small microquakes there at Mount St. Helens. And we're checking out the previous UTC time, which is our current afternoon and early morning time frame. Hopefully. Let's see if we got it. There we go. A little bit of activity. I'm not for certain what this is here. Could be some rock slides. Could be some earthquake activity distant, as far as like a distant earthquake. But as far as local seismic activity goes, we're looking for these little sharp spikes. And there's definitely a few of them. But no major unrest or unusual activity to note there across the board. The solar weather activity, of course, last night, early this morning time frame, we had a couple M flares popping off from a region, 3098, which is now kind of saying goodbye. It is way over here on the northwestern side of the limb, and if you look at the latest imagery here, it's even further. It's pretty much out of sight, out of mind, so to speak. We do have a couple sunspots down here that are facing us right now, but they are not looking all that active. Old sunspot region, 3088, is about the only one I would take note of. It is now a newly named sunspot 3102, but this has traveled... this is the second time we've seen this sunspot. So it's making its way around the bend once again. I don't think it's going to pop off anything major. Right now, 99% chance of a C flare. M flare at 40% chance. X flare elevated at 10. I wonder where that's coming from. Probably 3098. But again, that is going to be facing away from Earth. 3102 harbors a beta class magnetic field. And just a very minimal chance of any type of flaring. So, no major weather expected far as the solar storms go over the forecast. Right now they're still showing a little moderate activity, but it doesn't look that way in the raw data at all. Things are pretty mellow across the board on the KP index, and current solar flare activity is there's those M flares that kicked up there this morning and overnight. Looks like getting a little C flare right now from a sunspot, but just kind of in the neutral zone right now. Somewhat minor activity. All right, going to give a quick announcement here to all the channel members. Try to do this at least once a week here on the live stream. We had a few members join here over the last day or so, and we're going to start off with Chris Hitchabout, Mike Moses, Sherry Sanders, Shelly White, Gary Waters, Joycelyn Burzik. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, I apologize. Chuck White, Rosemary Hill, Kathy Doan, I believe, Dolores, Ashley, Ann Panzika, Pamela Hamilton, Judy Menzel, Lainey Miller, Robbie82, Betty Kelly, Purple Bullet, Nancy Kozlowski, Maria Park, John Didier. Debash Mode is our lucky winner this month. He picked out a cool Earthmaster, or they picked out a cool Earthmaster shirt. Next month, we're trying to figure out what to do. We'll figure it out, and we'll, of course, do an announcement when we figure that out. Joelle Kozlowski, Alicia Stanford, Mike Delaney, Melanie Fisher, Catherine Decker, Pamela Connolly, Ray Addington, Hope and Feathers, Robert Kozlowski, Robert Vogel, The Fly Lady, Jay Fuentes 347, and Albert Sanchez Jr., one of our longest standing members right now here on the channel. We appreciate you guys. It's getting up there. Notice that this took a little bit longer to go through these names. So right now we got about 36 members up here, and we appreciate each and every one of you guys. We do try to throw out some videos on occasion that we normally don't throw up here on the channel for the public view. So plus you get some extra emojis and icons and stuff like that, and also member drawings every month. So get a pretty good chance of winning some prizes, which is pretty cool. I think everyone likes that. All right, what else we got? I think that's about it. trying to think if there's anything else. I am going to pop up this Windy app here real quick. It's a pretty cool app. I found myself using this a lot. In fact, I even paid for the premium for Windy to track hurricanes and whatnot. It's got a lot of different features here. Let's go to the wind gusts real quick. And this is Alaska. Check out this massive low pressure system kicking up some major winds up there, around 80, 90 miles an hour, just coming into the western portion here of Alaska. They are going to get slammed from this low pressure system with some rain and some heavy duty wind that's coming in tonight. Man, I would love to experience this. I'm not even joking. I know I'm crazy, but this is something that I live for. This type of environment, the heavy wind, the rain. I'm not a sunshine type of guy at all. I'm sorry. Fair weather to me is depressing. Give me the storms. So anyway, that's going to be hitting Alaska. Here in Northern California, check this out. And this is kind of getting me excited as well. Saturday night, getting a low pressure system. Not a massive one, nothing like Alaska. But we are going to be getting some rain stirring up here as this low pressure system kind of travels down off the coast of California. This is in pretty much perfect position too here to provide us with some southwest moisture flow and convection from this low pressure system. Going to be spinning up a lot of rainfall into the valleys here in the Coast Range around Sacramento northward, and of course that will kind of travel down south. But man, this is it's looking awesome. I love it. Here's some of the rainfall amounts kicking in Sunday morning, and we're expecting this to last all day Sunday and in the portions of Monday as well, as that moisture just kind of sits there and spins up and around, and it's a perfect direction for us here in the Sacramento Valley. The reason why I say that is because if we get a west to east moisture flow, these mountains here, coastal ranges, basically suck up all the moisture and provide a rain shadow. That means that we don't get rained on here in the Sacramento Valley, the western edge of the valley. And then again, once it gets over here to the mountains of the Sierra Nevada, then you get that uplift over the terrain and you get that increased moisture once again. So I'm glad it's not coming straight from the west to the east, because that's the rain shadow, and I do not like that word one bit. We're getting a southwest flow, southwestern flow, and that's going to bring up a lot of moisture here into the Sacramento area northward. Chico area expecting around half an inch to an inch of rain. Areas to the west here a little bit more in the Coast Range, between an inch and 2 inches, and then more so over the Sierra Nevada. This here is the ECM WF model. The next 5 days of activity showing that here's the next 5 days or so, showing some of that precipitation totals. Looks like areas around Willows will be getting over an inch of rain here around Chico, roughly about an inch and 11/10 there. But some of these other rainfall totals around Santa Rosa, Clear Lake area, getting over 2 inches of rainfall, and that's pretty cool. But Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto, Merced, you guys are all getting rain too, is much needed. I hope it puts these fires out, some of the fires that are burning around Northern California. So we need to end this fire season. I don't care. It needs to end. So bring on the rainfall. And California, you're getting it. We're definitely getting it for a September storm. This is pretty rare. We don't get these storms too often here in the middle of September. This is technically still our summer, and we don't get rainfall in summer. We just don't. I know out in the plains, Montana, and all those areas, summer storms, that's normal. But here in California, our rainy season only starts, it starts around November to about March or April. So I'm barbecuing. I'm going to break out the barbecue. I'm going to enjoy some adult beverages while the rain's coming in, and that is my type of barbecuing weather. I'm not even joking. We got some tri-tip and some chicken. Me and Missy Mimi's are going to barbecue, and it's going to be delicious. And of course, for the members out there, we do like to post our dinners and our barbecues and our somewhat family get-togethers for those folks there. A little special perk for the members only. And that will be coming up. Just haven't decided if I want to barbecue Saturday night or wait until Sunday when the rain's heaviest. We'll figure it out. But All right, guys, have a good night. Friday night. Stay safe out there. A lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. The best you can do is just be observant, keep your eyes open, and be prepared. Have a good night, everyone. We'll chat you guys a little bit later. Peace out.